Welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm your host, the People's Champion, and your good buddy in the mix, Shanghai Pete. I know it's been kind of slow recently, mercifully, I think, and that's great. Sometimes it's nice to be insulated from the constant hype, letdown, rehype of the games industry news cycle. Besides, I think we've all been a little bit too busy roasting alive and being bankrupted by our electric bills from having to keep the AC cranked to worry about video games. Some things have happened though, one of which I definitely do not want to get deep inside of, but nevertheless, the show must go on, as they say, so here we are. Just time for a quick recap of the week, which was dominated largely by Twitch's biggest ex-streamer, Dr. Disrespect. We're not gonna get too deep inside this one because, frankly, I don't want to throw up all over myself, but, I don't know, I'm sorry, geez, but this is another I told you so moment. I always thought this guy was a creep show. The costume, the mustache, I don't know, it always felt weird to me, especially since this was a character clearly geared towards kids. You can't look at that dude and tell me that whole thing was targeted at a demographic intended largely for adults. Now, for those of you who may have mercifully missed the news, I'm here to shatter your fragile peace by providing the details. Hooray! Well, some details anyway. We're not gonna get too crazy. It's really all rather fucking disgusting. Anyway, this particular little horror show began a few years ago with this total piece of shit in his weird pedo bait cosplay getup quickly taking the Twitch world by storm. I've never personally understood the desire to watch other people play video games, especially ones that look like a 10-year-old's idea of someone cool, but hey, different people like different shit, I guess. At any rate, a few years ago, arguably at the height of his popularity, Dr. Disrespect disappeared off Twitch. Oh no, seemingly overnight. The reason for the ban remaining unconfirmed, despite the speculation of many that it was for, shall we say, unsavory reasons. Now, I don't know about you guys, but the moment the speculation started, I immediately was like, yep, that's definitely the reason. This guy looks like a sick fuck. Fast forward a few years, and here we are, it's been confirmed. Dr. Disrespect is a fucking PDF file. Who confirmed it? Oh, well, he did, of course. Pro tip for any weirdos that feel as though talking about their personal life in public is a good idea: don't post and delete. The internet never forgets. Someone will screen cap it, I promise. Which is exactly what happened to Dr. Disgusting with his original confession tweet, seen here. He says, "Were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes." And okay, alright, wrap it up. That's it. Bye-bye, sicko. Game over. That's the end of this story, G's. Nothing more to see here. When you make that kind of statement, I don't care what else happened, what else you have to say, or what else you may or may not have done. It's over, boys. Good fucking riddance. If I never see this fuck on my timeline again, it will be too soon. Ugh, gross. Alright, with that out of the way, it's time for our main story tonight, which finds Microsoft and Xbox regrettably back in our crosshairs as they're the latest multi-billion-dollar corpo who announced that they're once again going to shit in our breakfast. This time it's Xbox Game Pass getting the foul fecal formula. Y'all remember Game Pass, right? Launched in 2017. At first it was a vaguely insulting, thinly veiled attempt by Microsoft to distract everyone from the fact that the Xbox ecosystem was a black hole where hit exclusives went to die. Then, miraculously, it transformed into an actual decent value with great features thanks to the addition of a huge library that included big third-party releases as well as hit indie games, and there was much rejoicing. But if you know corpos as we do, it was only a matter of time until their profits grew to a size where they were once again comfortable fucking over their audience and customers, and I regret to inform you that now is that time. The writing's been on the wall for this one for a little while now, actually, with Microsoft pulling moves here and there that raised questions with a lot of us about what exactly they were doing and what their intentions for the Game Pass service really were. Remember, back in May, when they shut down 4 first-party development studios that they'd only acquired a few years prior, including one of my personal favorites, Tango Gameworks, the guys behind The Evil Within? That was kind of weird, right? Why hype up Game Pass and grab these new studios only to shut down the ones doing the most interesting work? Standard procedure with this type of streaming platform is to get to critical mass first, doubling down on the original goals for the service, increasing value, doing whatever possible to keep prices cheap. That doesn't seem to be Microsoft's plan, however, as according to Kotaku and many other outlets, Microsoft is announcing, quote, not just the second price hike in a year, but a substantial retreat from the everything everywhere at one simple price ethos that launched it in the first place. Just in the past 10 months or so, the price of Game Pass jumped from $10 to $11 worldwide. Not a huge amount, admittedly, but at a time when most people are struggling to buy food, every dollar counts. Then they bumped the cost of Game Pass Ultimate from $15 to $17. Again, Not enormous, not a huge deal, but still shitty, especially if you're one of those families that pays for multiple streaming services every month. This was supposed to be a simple, easy plan for everyone, remember? But then, just this week, Microsoft revealed yet another complete overhaul of the supposedly simple service that conveniently fucks customers out of services that they had before while also milking them for more money. Just fantastic work, guys. Shareholder bonuses all around, right? Here's a quote from Kotaku breaking it all down. Game Pass will still have 4 tiers, 3 for console, 1 for PC, but the benefits, names, and prices are all changing. Good thing that's not confusing. Most notably, the basic Xbox Game Pass subscription tier, simply called Game Pass for console, is turning into Game Pass Standard, going from $11 a month, which remember was already increased once already this past year, to $15, gaining Xbox Live and losing access to day one Game Pass releases and certain other games in the full Game Pass library. The Game Pass library already got splintered once with Game Pass Core, which contains a very limited slice of first and third-party Xbox games, and now it's happening again, though we won't know the full extent of the fragmentation until more details are announced in the coming months. Oh, that's good. Current Game Pass for console subscribers will stay grandfathered in, mercifully, as long as their membership stays on auto-renew. Watch out for those overdraft fees, normal people. But for everyone else, the only way to keep access to day one releases will be to sign up for Game Pass Ultimate, which now costs a whopping $240 a year, or roughly the cost of the frequently discounted Xbox Series S, whichever that one is. There's simply no way to know. Alright, thank you Kotaku, that's all very interesting. Now, why do you guys suppose they're doing all this? Could it perhaps have something to do with Call of Duty Advanced World Black Ops War Vanguard Warfare 6, an anticipated bestseller which just so happens to drop in a few short months in October?
I think so.
Could one game really be behind all this price changing and heavily couched, unnecessarily complex service adjustments? In fairness, probably not entirely, but considering Microsoft spent almost $70 billion to buy that in Diablo 4? It seems at least somewhat likely. As someone who stopped playing Call of Duty years ago and for whom Diablo 4 fell kind of flat, I'm forced to agree with Kotaku on this one. I don't think any of that was worth axing Tago Gameworks, sorry. Sadly for Microsoft and Xbox, this most recent cock-up has been pretty emblematic of the past few years. But it didn't have to be. A laughably obtuse, almost comical naming convention, a botched launch, and yawning vacuum where first-party hits should have been, doomed the Xbox One from the start. Not only did I never end up buying one, and I usually buy all new consoles, but no one I know had one either, even to this day. I don't even remember what the Xbox One looked like, partially because to this day I still don't know the difference between an Xbox One, Series S, or Series X, and I doubt anyone else does either, and partially because it was just that irrelevant. So, in an effort to clean up that rather embarrassing debacle, Fat Cock Philly Spence and the boys ran around hoovering up every studio that wasn't nailed down while pouring resources into Game Pass, effectively the only reason anyone today even still knows the name Xbox. And it was working for a while, to their credit. Day one access to stuff like Halo and Forza, plus other small studio games, stuff like Bolt Gun showed up there, classics like Fallout and The Elder Scrolls. And then when you add in all that Activision Blizzard stuff, presumably, should have been a home run. An easy home run. There was a time when I myself recommended Game Pass to people because it was a good deal, with the names of games my friends were telling me they could play for free due to their Game Pass subscription popping up constantly in conversation. But now it's rapidly becoming just a mess. Strangely enough, the PC Game Pass version is still actually a relatively good deal, but that wasn't really supposed to be the point, was it? Does Microsoft want people to forego Game Pass services in favor of just buying stuff outright again? Is that the goal here? I don't know, and I honestly don't get it. When it first launched, the plan laid out by Microsoft for Game Pass seemed smart to me, and like the only way to ensure Xbox's continued relevance in the gaming space. You can't beat Sony in the hardware arena, and you can't touch first-party Nintendo titles. So instead, gather up the rights to tons of great studios and their games, put them behind a simple, affordable paywall that's hardware and platform independent. Sounds pretty fucking good to me. The key to that working, though, is simple and affordable. Without that, Xbox and Game Pass just becomes a mishmash of confusing and overpriced services of dubious value and even more confusing hardware platforms. And sorry boys, but that's just not going to be enough to entice anyone away from Nintendo and PlayStation these days. You can't strip all the value and benefits out of the service you've been touting for years as the future of your entire business in the name of short-term profits and then expect it not to be toxic to your audience and customer base. I don't know where Microsoft and Xbox go from here, but Destroying the studios, making your best games, and charging $240 to play Call of Duty 6? It doesn't seem like a great plan to me. What do you guys think? All right, that's our show. Thanks so much for chilling tonight, spending this little bit of your free time with us. We love you today. We love you all the way. What do you guys think about all this? Have you given up on Xbox long ago? Do you still have a Game Pass sub? And is this going to change anything for you? Let us know in the comments down below, and we will catch you all next week for more subversive sarcasm and edgelord hot takes about this retarded industry.
Woke up, smoke up, blunt, then I pass out. Pass out. Woke up, what up, smoke up, blunt, then I'm back down. Back down. What? Woke up, smoke up, blunt, then I pass out. Pass out. Woke up, what up, smoke up.